I tell you what, this book rocks. It really does. It moves so quickly. It's so exciting. It's so terrifying. It's so accurate. It's an amazing book. It's come from the heart of God to you and to me. Very importantly, 3 women that are mentioned in the book of Revelation. You've got to get an understanding of those 3 women. Otherwise, your theology gets horribly muddled. Number 1, there is the wife of Jehovah. Yatveh Hatveh, that is the writing there in that first block. Who is the wife of Jehovah according to the book of Revelation? Well, it's the woman of Revelation 12, and she is pregnant with this child. Who is the child? The child is the Messiah, Jesus. And so the wife of God, according to the Bible, is Israel. Then we come along to another woman. And this woman also mentioned in the book of Revelation, the virgin bride. Who is the virgin bride? The bride of Christ. The Bible tells us of the wedding supper of the Lamb. And the Bible says that the church becomes the bride of Christ. I've had the privilege of getting married. And when I was married, I was dressed up in my suit as the groom. But I want to tell you something. I'm going to another wedding. And in that wedding, I'm going to be the bride. So us guys are going to have a chance just to experience what the bride goes through. But it's the bride of Christ. What's the bride of Christ? Just simply the church. And then there's another woman mentioned in the book of Revelation, the harlot. This prostitute, Mystery Babylon. This woman who rides the beast. An ecumenical world religion that will come about in these last days. And this woman will ride the beast, which is this political system of Europe. We're going to spend much more time looking at that. Very, very importantly, there are some churches whose theology has tragically got muddled up. And they've got the wires crossed. And in their theology, what they've gone and done is they've just simply said this. They have said that God, Jehovah, is finished with Israel. And because God is finished with Israel, God has moved Israel off of the map and He has replaced Israel with the church. It's called replacement theology. And what it allows is it allows the church to move into a form of anti-Semitism, where the church gets as cross with Israel as the rest of the world gets with Israel. But folk, I want you to understand something this morning. That form of theology is a diabolical, satanically operated theology. God is not finished with Israel. Let's say that again. God is not finished with Israel. If you understand the book of Revelation, God is busy with Israel, and in fact Jesus is coming back to Israel, to the city of Jerusalem. God is still busy with the Jewish people. And as the rest of the world turns against Israel, as Iran and Iraq and Syria and Russia begin to gang up against Israel, as was prophesied by Ezekiel 2,500 years ago, in the war of Gog and Magog, as the world turns its back on Israel, folk, we as the church need to be the one group of people that will pray and stand with the Jewish nation. God is not finished with Israel. Please, this woman here is pregnant. That's Israel. Are you with me? If the church gets pregnant, then the church has got a problem. Because the church has got to be the virgin bride. You cannot mix these two. They're completely separate entities. And unfortunately, some of the churches have moved into this. And it is the doctrine of devils. I can't go any more strongly than that. But when you hear someone say that God is through with Israel, reject that immediately. Because He's not through. And His word makes it clear that He is not through. His plans with Israel continue. And He will bring all of history to a close in the city of Jerusalem. Now,